Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Avi. I'm the founder of UX Salon, which is a group dedicated to advance the profession of user experience design. And I'm here with the fabulous Mike Monteiro, which is coming to me right from California, right? And Mike is coming to Tel Aviv for UX Salon 2016 in April 3rd and 4th. And
I can't wait.
that's the reason I'm here with you today on UX on Coffee, which basically means we both have coffees. Mike prepared his specialty coffee, and I have here my coffee. And basically, what it means that we're going to speak until we run out of coffees in our mugs. We're not limited by time, but how much coffee we have in our cups. So, cheers, Mike.
Avi. So my coffee is from Cafe Trieste, right around the corner from me.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the oldest and best coffee shops in San Francisco.
Enjoy. Thanks for splurging.
Patti Smith mentioned it in her new book, Cafe Trieste.
Oh, cool. Okay. So, Mike, I want to ask you first of all a question that is kind of in the core of what you're coming here to do in the conference is.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be coming there. By the way,
I'm happy to have you, Mike. And
we're doing a masterclass.
are we?
We are. We're doing a masterclass.
Yes, we are. And
okay.
We're
You
going
want me to let you ask?
We're going.
Why don't you?
Yes, we're going to do a masterclass on design as a job, which we're going to talk about in a second. But I want to ask you, what's your tip for the young designer who just came out of school and want to succeed in business and wants to make it in the show business of design?
My tip for young designers who want to have a long and fruitful career when they get out of school is that they haven't really learned anything yet. They're not done. They haven't even started with everything that they need to know. Like school might have taught you a few things about, the technical aspects of design, the aesthetic aspects of design, but there's no simulation in school for the actual like dealing with clients and dealing with real problems and dealing with all of the business of managing design projects and all the stuff that you don't want to think about, but all the stuff that leads to you actually being able to run a business, or even if you just want to get a job as a designer somewhere, you still have to deal with all the relationship stuff and how to deal with people. And really, the best way to learn all of that is to go find somebody else, to find somebody to teach it to you. And a lot of these young kids now, back when I was a kid, a lot of kids now, they want, they got the startup bug. They want to get rich. They want to be like the only designer at this startup around the corner, and they're not learning how to be good designers that way. Because they're not
be inspired by others. Is that the trick?
Inspire is a shit word. Can I say shit on this show?
Of course.
Okay, great. Inspired sounds like there's something that comes down from heaven with and like screws you in your ear, and then you give birth to the baby Jesus. I'm talking about actual tips for doing the job. I'm talking about like, what do you do when you're in a presentation and a client starts yelling at you? What do you do when you planned on giving a presentation to 2 people and 16 people show up? What do you do when you think you're close to getting a client to sign off on a direction, and all of a sudden the client decides, you know what, we're actually going to pivot our business and we have to start all over again? You've never been in those situations before, and if you don't know how to deal with those situations, you're going to have a very, very short and sad career.
So you find a place where they can. Is that what you're saying? Like find a place that can mentor you and
find a mentor. Go be an apprentice. I'm not talking about go work for free. I'm talking about going somewhere where there's a designer you admire, who's been doing this for a very long time, and ask them a million questions a day about how this shit actually works.
But maybe perhaps it's a cultural thing. But in Israel, at least, I know that getting an internship job is very hard because you have to have some experience, and people don't want to spend the time mentoring you because it's a business. How do you overcome that, or how do you find those people that you think worth your time? What's your trick to find those golden nuggets?
I just, I talk to people. I've got a lot of people who, who want to interview here, and I take a look at what their level of expertise is and what they think their level of expertise is. And if what I think it is and what they think it is matches, then we might be able to work together. If I think they've got, they're a young kid with a lot of potential, and they think that they're God's gift to earth, we're gonna have a horrible relationship, and I'm not, I'm too old to take that on.
Okay, so I want you to, if you can, present the book that you wrote about this, Design as a Job, which we're going to have a masterclass on, full-day masterclass when you come here. Yes. By the way, what color is that book? Is it orange? Is it gold?
It's shit brown.
Shit brown. So
I'm
always wondered about that.
I'm gonna ruin this podcast for you.
That's all right. You can swear. This is a broadcast to Tel Aviv, which is allowed. We're allowed to say whatever we want.
You know why? You know why I'm excited about going to Tel Aviv?
Yes, tell me.
Because I heard that audiences in Tel Aviv will actually argue back at you.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like they won't sit there quietly. They won't. They engage.
Do you expect that? Is that something that
I'm hoping for it?
Does not happen in other places?
No, at least not to. So Jared Spool, right?
Yeah.
So Jared at this point, Jared has spoken in at every conference and every little 3-stool bar in the world, and he told me that so the two extremes. And I'm blaming Jared for this in case it comes off as racist at all. But the two extremes are like Korea, where people are extremely polite. They don't make any noise during your talk, and then they all clap for exactly the same amount of time. And Israel, where people will begin to argue with you the minute you say something. Doesn't matter if your talk's over or not.
I think this is a challenge if someone sees that and comes to your workshop, you better expect to have some tough people in the crowd.
So I grew up in a yelly family where everybody yelled at each other all the time. And it wasn't because they were mad or anything. See, all these people here in San Francisco, they think yelling is anger. The Portuguese, where I grew up, they think yelling is communicating. So we would just yell at each other all the time, and that's just how we communicated.
Okay, something to learn there.
This isn't how you wanted this to go at all, is it?
I don't know what to say.
What are you wearing? What are you wearing, by the way?
I'm wearing a sheep.
What is that?
That's like you can see that. It's a sweater. It's cold.
It's a sweater.
Yes.
Did you knit it or did you buy it?
It's bought.
Is your head cold?
Yes. I should. I need. Yes.
You should wear a hat. You should wear a hat.
Well,
anyway, so you want to talk about this master class?
Let's talk about the master class.
All right. So all the stuff that's in the book, and we're talking about here. Let me open it up to the table of contents here. We're talking about what are the things that actually make people a designer, because it's not the pushing of pixels around. That stuff is bullshit. And we're talking about how to get clients, how to make sure they're the right clients. We're talking about how to charge for your work.
The contracts
we're not there yet. We're gonna talk about contracts, Now, I need to talk to you about that before I talk to them about that, because I don't want to give like a U.S.-centric view of contracts, and all of a sudden everybody's in court. I want to talk to you about how to stick. I want to talk to people about how to stick to your process. I want to talk about presenting design. I want to talk about how to manage the feedback that comes from those presentations. I want to talk to you about how you work with other people, because nothing is designed by one person. And then I want to talk to you about how you get your money so that you can keep doing this, so that you can actually earn a living doing this. That's the design as a class. That's the design is a job masterclass.
Great, and I think
It's a
this is.
full day. It's going to be a full day.
I think it's a. I don't know. I think it's an important. It's an important masterclass to learn, because, of course, I wonder why they don't, as you say, don't teach this in design schools, because it's a part of it, right, of being a designer. Why do you think it's not happening, or is it starting to happen?
It's starting to happen a little bit. It's not happening quick enough. We have other problems right now. Design schools are still teaching graphic design when they need to be teaching interaction design. They're ridiculously slow about coming around to digital. This is by no means the entire educational system. There are some excellent schools out there that are doing, really good work in the digital area. Here in San Francisco, CCA has taken some very good steps in this direction. I know that SVA in New York has taken good steps in this direction. A bunch of SVA students probably just rolled their eyes. But in general, so here's what I think the original sin of design schools is. You familiar with the concept of original sin?
I believe so. You refresh my memory.
Okay. I don't know. Is that a Catholic thing? Is that a Jewish thing?
I think it's a Catholic thing. I'm not sure. I'm
Okay.
not versed in the Bible.
Okay. So I was raised Catholic. I'm an alumni now. It's a terrible thing.
Hmm.
So original sin is the sin that you're born with. It's not even your fault. You didn't even do anything. You're just born with it.
Okay.
It's stupid. Right? Isn't that a horrible idea? You got this cute little baby. It was just born, and all of a sudden it's like sinning all over the place and it needs to go to confession.
Hmm.
Anyway, so that's what original sin is. So the original sin of design schools is that they're all paired up with art schools. Why does every art school and design school together in the same place? The two have absolutely nothing to do with each other.
Hmm.
It's like having cooking school and architecture school together. They, other than building really tall tuna towers, the two have nothing to do with one another. If anything, they should be on their own. But if you needed to place it within any like inside another college or anything, it should be a business college, not an art college.
Interesting, but there is a more and more trend to about design leadership, teaching. So it's going there, but design leaders are not necessarily acting as designers. Am I right? Is that you understand?
I don't know what. Tell me what you mean by a design leader.
Design leaders are now it's people who lead forward the design processes and innovate in businesses.
Oh, those are just loud people. Those are just loud people who have been doing this for a long time.
Okay.
And they've been doing it for a long time. They started out as designers, and now they're old and cranky, and they sound like they know what they're talking about. So everybody thinks they're a design leader. That's fine. That's how I make my money.
I want to say that I think that this book is important because I remember myself starting as a designer, and I felt awful to take so much money for $500 to design a logo. I felt like it was so much fun to do, and it was like should I charge for this? Because it took me half a day to do, and I think that the book kind of gives confidence to designers to know that they're worth the time that they invest. How do you see that?
It's crazy. All designers feel that way. I used to feel that way. And I think there are clients who prey on that too. There are clients out there who are like, I can't, why are you charging? I can't believe you're charging me to do something you love.
Mm-hmm.
And to which I say, I can't believe you're an idiot who's spending your life doing something he hates. I mean, we're exchanging value, right? So I made something that you needed. It doesn't matter how long it took me. That's none of your business, really. What matters is how much value are you getting out of it, right? So if I made you a new logo, it might have taken me half a day, but you're going to slap that logo on a bunch of stuff, and you're going to make like $1 million a year on stuff that has that logo on it.
Mm-hmm.
I want a piece of that. I did the work to get a piece of that.
Yeah, I mean, you bring a lot of the knowledge you accumulated through the years of studying, but I'm saying that sometimes you feel lack of confidence in charging for something that was fun to do, and I think that's designer thinking, right? But
lack of confidence is really expensive.
what do you say to the people who say, "Why don't you just do this for me for free?" Because there's a lot of those, like, do this for me for free, and maybe if the business will work, then I'll pay you and all that. How do you handle that?
I just say no.
Of course, yes, you say no.
But seriously, do you have to say more than that? I mean, this is another problem that designers have, feeling that they need to rationalize their value at every possible moment. Somebody asks you to work for free. That's fine. They have a right to ask you silly things. People do that to each other all the time. All you have to do as a human being is say no. That's it. They can't force you to do it for free. You don't need them to understand why you won't do it for free. You just need to say no.
Yes, just say no.
And then the ball's back on their court. And then so if you said to me, why don't you just do this for free? And I say no, and then I don't say anything else, and the ball's now back in your court. What do you think the next thing?
But I'm starving for work. I'm starving to get like a portfolio piece. I'm like, all these things that, are in the mind of a designer.
How does free work feed you? If you're starving, free work is the last thing that you need. You need paying work. So why should you give up any of your time for work that doesn't solve your problem? Your problem being that you need money. So you want to keep as many hours as possible open to earn money. I would rather go work on the docks for minimum wage than give somebody free design.
All right. I mean, more than that, in the workshop and in the masterclass that you will have, and I know that the book that you wrote is pretty popular, and anyone who read it tells me that it's like their Bible. But you went ahead and wrote the second book, the sequel to the Bible, which is
the Book of Mormon.
Yes. Can you tell me why you wrote that book?
So I wanted to write a book for clients. So you're my favorite client, and this one I wrote for you to give to a client. So you're thinking about working together. You give them this book, and you say, "Here, this will make the process go better for you, so that and it'll help you to keep me honest about what I'm doing. So it would help me out as well if you read this."
Share with me a little bit. What's in that book? Because it's interesting. Who's the appropriate client? I mean, any client? Is it the big client?
Any client. Yeah, you give this book to any client. Also fun to read. Here's another thing about designers, and I love them all dearly, but God, they're a pain in my ass. And you should all go to my workshop. Designers get annoyed. They get so annoyed when clients aren't doing what they need them to do. Like the client's not giving me the right kind of feedback. The client's not, answering, telling me the client's not telling me exactly what to do. And if the client tells me exactly what to do, then it becomes this person is telling me exactly what to do. Like they will complain about clients no matter what they're doing. It's crazy making. And, often we forget that these people who hire us to do this stuff, these people like probably fought tooth and nail to get the budget that they needed for this project. They might have been trying for years to get the budget that they needed for this project. And then, they looked around, they looked for a design partner. They found you. They decided to go with you. This is a miracle that these connections happen. And now they put their future in your hands, and they have never done this before. They have never done a site redesign. They have never done an app design. There are a ton of people out there who have never gone through this design process. If they did, they probably didn't go through it with you, and this is all new. And we act as if they have all this intrinsic knowledge of how this should go, which they don't. And we do a very, very poor job of guiding clients through this. Let me give you an example. So we'll do a bunch of work for a client, let's say a bunch of comps. We'll do a bunch of comps for a client. We'll walk them through the comps. We'll tell them like here's how these things solve the goals that or meet the goals that we talked about. Here's why they're right. Blah 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 blah. And then we'll sign off and we'll send them an email like, can we get feedback on these by Thursday? Now, if you're the client on the other end and you just got an email that said, can I get feedback on these by Thursday? What are you going to do? Like, do you know what kind of feedback that these people are looking for? Do you know what they need answers to? Like, you don't. And so here's the other way that can happen. You do the presentation, blah blah blah, and then you email them and say, hey, feedback by Thursday. Here's a helpful set of feedback guidelines on the sorts of things that we're looking for at this point in the project. And here's why those things are important. Also, here's a list of things that you should feel that you should ignore right now because they're not important yet. Now, if you're the person who gets that email, it's like a great weight was just lifted from your shoulders. You now understand exactly what your designer is looking for. You understand exactly how you should be looking at these comps, what kind of feedback is important. So it's usually the designers who don't guide the client's feedback, who don't send out the helpful, here's some tips, who complain when they get feedback and it's all over the map. Sometimes it's like in PowerPoint and they've circled things and they say, move this here. I guarantee that the people who get that kind of feedback are the people who did not send out guidelines and the people who complain about it the most.
Yes.
And that's why I wrote that book.
How do you find, what's the response to that book? Because, do people actually read it? Because it's, if you give it to a client, which is necessarily busy, would he read it? How does it? What's the feedback you're getting from people?
There's a good joke right on page 2.
All right, tell it to me.
I have heard. So yes, it's selling well, and I have talked to people who gave it to their clients, and they've heard back from their clients. Their clients enjoyed it. People are buying it. You can buy it by the box.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
Yeah, you can buy it by the box at abookapart.com.
Yes.
And they ship to Israel.
All right.
But so what I didn't expect, and maybe I should have, but I'm not that smart, is that designers are kind of seeing it as part 2 of design as a job. I thought of it as like, here's 2 sides of the same coin, one for you, one for your client, and designers are kind of seeing it as part 2, where there's like more stuff, and they're reading it a lot more than I thought they would.
Yeah, I suppose they would, because it's again it's an important aspect or perspective on the business of design. We're running out of coffee. I'm sure your cup seems like you've almost run out of coffee.
I'm out of coffee.
Out of coffee?
I'm out of coffee.
Okay.
Almost. I'm almost. I think I got
hold
two.
on.
I got
Don't
two more
drink it yet.
sips.
Don't drink it yet because I have one more question.
All right.
Um, this is the golden age of design. So I want to talk to you about your presentation at the conference. So the title is, this is the golden age of design, but we're screwed.
And we're screwed.
And we're screwed.
And we're screwed.
All right. So what is that about? Give me the short. The short.
All right. Here's the bumper sticker description. This is a wonderful time. It's a wonderful time to be a designer.
Yeah.
We spent years advocating for the importance of design. We spent years teaching people that design was important to your success, your service, your application, your product. It needs to be well designed. And, you know, we had enough examples that we could finally put that in front of people, and, you know, and people finally bought into it. So now you've got, you know, these companies that are starting up, and these older companies, they all want to invest in designers. They all want to bring designers on board. And I think that whole era of like engineers running a company and then bringing in a designer like the night before launch, I think that era is over.
It's the golden age of design.
It's the golden age of design.
Yes.
And we have absolutely no designers to fill those roles.
We don't?
No.
All right. I mean, I'm not going to let you elaborate because you should come to the conference and see.
Come to the conference. You'll get the rest of the story.
Yes. I'm actually curious now, by the way, Mike. So again,
haven't you seen this talk?
Well, yes, I did, but
oh, I see. You're doing a little. Are you breaking things?
No, I'm just nervous. No, but I seen it, but I think that I want to. I mean, I don't remember the answer for that actually, to be honest. So
all right,
I should see it again. So yes.
What is this thing? What is this thing you're wearing on your head, by the way?
This is just. What is that thing you have on your chin, buddy?
This is facial hair.
No, I'm talking about.
Oh, you don't do the facial hair thing.
No.
Okay.
All right, Mike. Again, thank you for having coffee with me. It was a pleasure, as always, and I'm looking forward to see you pretty soon in April.
I will see you soon. I am excited. I cannot wait to visit Tel Aviv. I've heard that it is a remarkably beautiful place, filled with charming people. The food is amazing.
Indeed.
And people keep telling me, beaches. Go to the beaches.
Yes, do that. I mean,
all right.
Hopefully in April it will be warm enough for the beach, but at least you can take a stroll.
I'll have my bikini body ready.
Yes.
All right.
Amen to that. So thank you, Mike, and I'll see you soon.
All right. Bye, Avi.
Bye-bye.